The new DJI Mini 3 has got many of the functions and features of the Mini 3 Pro, but not all. It is a brilliant bit of kit, especially for the price, but you probably want to make sure it's got everything you need. So, very quick video today for those of you thinking about upgrading or wanting to get a sub 250 gram model in your collection and wondering which one of these to go for. Hello, I'm Ian and I play with drones, and yes, quick video today to go through what I think would be the main considerations when deciding to go for the Mini 3 or the Mini 3 Pro, as despite a host of similarities, there are some fairly fundamental differences too that would be no big deal to some people but maybe a complete deal breaker to others. So probably good to start off with the main ones first. Price is of course a huge thing, and if price is your only consideration, then you probably want to be checking out the Mini SE or the Mini 2, as the Mini 2 especially is a truly tremendous bit of kit for its price. But today I'm talking about the Mini 3 and the Mini 3 Pro, and I'm not going to get diverted. Mini 3 Pro really is pretty much everything you want in terms of features and spec in the world of sub 250 gram drones, but of course you are paying a price for that tech. It can be bought as a drone-only package without a remote control for £639 or $669. If you do need a remote, you can get it with the older N1 remote for £709 or $759. But as I have said before, if you haven't yet got the RC remote with the built-in screen, I really would recommend you spend that extra money and go for it, because it really is such a brilliant way to fly without having to hook up your phone each time. The Mini 3 Pro RC package goes for £859 or $909. And its separate Fly More combo pack is sold as a standalone package for another £159. Meanwhile, the new Mini 3 goes for around £200 or dollars cheaper than the equivalent 3 Pro package. So the drone only is just £439 or $469. Getting it with the older N1 remote is £519 or $559. With the RC package, it goes for £669 or $699. So, what are you keeping and what do you lose for that £200 saving? And crucially, does it matter? Well, a lot of it, as I said, is the same. Obviously, both of these are under 250 grams. For the extra flight and freedoms that you're going to get with that, obviously they're both going to provide the same thing. Flight speeds are almost identical, and importantly, so is the spec'd wind resistance. In fact, the main differences can be summarised by the lack of forward and rear obstacle avoidance, some reduced camera specs and functions, and also it has got slightly reduced video transmission as well. So probably good for me just to go through a few details there. Like I said, no obstacle avoidance. That's pretty easy to understand, and as I said the other day, in my opinion, it really isn't the biggest loss, as I don't think you can ever fully rely on obstacle avoidance, and as ever, I always think you should be flying well above obstacles. But this is an important feature for many users, and it may be a deal breaker for some. But beyond that, of course, without obstacle avoidance, you also lose a few other bits and pieces as well. Follow Me or Active Track, and again, this could be a deal breaker for some. And of course, without obstacle avoidance, you won't get the APAS or the pilot assistance system that helps the drone avoid obstacles automatically by flying around them. So these are fairly fundamental things you need to consider. Of course though, losing a little bit of hardware and processing does give you some extra flight time, an extra 4 minutes of flight time. That's not much, but it means that you should be getting close to half an hour's flight before the return to home alarms start kicking in. So this is a definite bonus with the Mini 3. But it's the camera. Whilst essentially the same as the Mini 3 Pro, the camera is where you do lose some of the other functions that aren't quite so obvious. The sensors on the two cameras are the same, but you get full 4K only up to 30 frames per second with the Mini 3, unlike the Mini 3 Pros, you get 4K up to 60 frames per second. You also don't get any slow motion mode at all with the Mini 3. You get a lower video bitrate, only 100 megabits per second versus the Pro's 150 megabits per second. In truth though, I'm unsure most people would even notice, but some may well be miffed to be losing the D-Cinelite colour profile that lets you play around more in post-production and editing, so you don't get that with the Mini 3. Camera also loses a few features, but again, they may not be important to many of you. You don't get master shots, but you do get most of the quick shots like rocket and helix and circle, but you don't get asteroid. Transmission power is the same for both models, so the range should be similar, and that is reflected in the specs. But you only get OcuSync 2 with the Mini 3, whilst the Pro gives you OcuSync 3. You also get a slightly lower video resolution. The video transmission for the Mini 3 is only 720 versus the Mini 3 Pro's 1080. But again, in truth, on a small screen, I don't see that really being a major issue at all. And it could actually help you by reducing any video latency by obviously being less data to transmit. And to me, that's actually one of the key points here, isn't it? Whilst there obviously are genuine differences in specs, you need to ask yourself whether or not that would actually affect you in most circumstances. Ultimately, both models are under 250 grams. They fly the same. They've got the same range, similar flight times. They both film in 4K, and they both give you JPEG and RAW photos up to 12 megapixels. So if that's all you want from a drone, then the Mini 3 is going to do you absolutely fine. And of course, if you currently have a DJI Air 2S, then the Mini 3 with the RC package is probably the best way to go, as that gets you a new sub 250 gram drone for flying in almost any area you're going to find yourself in, but you're also going to get the new RC remote, which will now of course work with your Air 2S as well. And you really, really will enjoy flying your Air 2S with the RC remote, I can guarantee it. But anyway, look, hopefully that's helped you. Not really much more to say. I've tried to keep it short today. Obviously I've got quite a bit more filming to do with the new Mini 3, but so I'm a bit busy to be honest. But look, hit that thumb up for me as ever if you find this useful. Wherever in the world you are, I hope all is well. And as ever, have fun, happy flying.